This video is brought to you by Raycon. Why are we even doing this? Video game prices be crazy right now, am I right? Am I right? Huh? This guy over here, he knows what I'm saying, he gets it. GTA 6 pre-orders are going live soon, and analysts think Rockstar may charge as much as $50,000! Can you believe this? And that's just the standard edition, doesn't even come with a steelbook. And in the world of Nintendo, they're raising the price of the Switch too, which is no fun. That, and now most of their games are $70, with the $80 Mario Kart World looming over us just to freak us out. Now we gotta worry about the next $80 game slapping us in the face. Nintendo has always been about offering customers a good value. Or, I mean, at least they've claimed to want to offer a good value. It's funny because you got loads of examples of them undercutting the competition and of them overcharging for stuff. But I suppose value is in the eye of the beholder. The idea, at least, has always been value. And they know that high prices could lock some of their potential audience out of buying their stuff. But the current economic climate has put them in a tough spot. Skyrocketing component prices have made it harder and harder to make money on hardware. The yen keeps on getting weaker, etc. And their poor shareholders are at genuine risk of becoming homeless. Specifically, the seventh home they keep in the Bahamas and spend 2 weeks in a year, mostly just to get away from the in-laws. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this all means price increases for Switch and Switch 2. It means $40 amiibo. It means crazy expensive accessories. And am I literally the singular person on the planet who thinks Switch 2 Welcome Tour should have been a free pack in-game? Huh? Yeah, this guy in the front row, the look on his face, he's like, uh-huh. So then to get back to the games, a $10 increase over the last generation with the threat of a $20 increase is, well, it's no fun. It's no fun at all. Being a Nintendo fan is becoming increasingly pricey, and it's a crummy situation to be in. However, I do believe there is at least a shred of hope. There are a number of things that we simply must consider, things which I think make all of this a little bit easier to swallow. I already did a video talking about how, starting with this very generation that we are now in, Nintendo has begun to charge less for games when you buy digitally versus physically. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book was the first game to start the trend, and they've said it's gonna be this way for the foreseeable future. In other regions, there's been a lot more variability in pricing, not quite sure why, but here in the US, digital and physical prices have always been identical, presumably to keep retailers happy, so they don't feel like Nintendo is selling them physical goods to resell, then acting as competition by undercutting them on the eShop. But here you go, it's finally happened. Digital Switch 2 games are now $10 cheaper. And you know, I do have to wonder if this was in direct response to all these rising prices. On Switch, it was already kind of ridiculous to charge the same price for the latest massive tentpole AAA game and a more niche game with a much smaller budget offering much less content and overall value. I know I've complained about it endlessly, but it's just like, okay, either one game is too expensive or the other one is too cheap. Nintendo likes to present each game as a very high quality experience worth paying a premium for. But I think even they can see that $70 for some of their less popular series, games that are just so much smaller, is kinda pushing it. And now with the world as it be, they see that there is a genuine risk of pricing huge chunks of the potential audience right out of the game. President Furukawa said recently that they want to combat rising hardware prices with a robust library of games. If Switch 2s are expensive to buy, then they want to at least give us lots of stuff to play on them. I know they like money. They like it when we give them money, but they're not stupid. You know, they know they're marketing this stuff to families, and parents are only gonna get jerked around so much. Before we continue discussing the amount of money that video games are, a quick reminder that this video was brought to you by Raycon. I'm enjoying the heck out of this spring, and when I'm not outside, engaging in extremely intensive physical activity and getting super buff, I'm inside spring cleaning, and I couldn't do it without my tunes, and of course, without my Raycon Everyday Earbuds Classic. These things things last a whole lot longer than my cleaning energy, I'll tell you that much. Up to 8 hours on a charge, and up to 32 with the charging case. And when they do run out of juice, quick charging for only 10 minutes gives me like 90 minutes of playtime. These things are always ready to go, and they're without a doubt the comfiest earbuds I've ever used. They're super slick, they never fall out. I love the look, I love the colors, there are lots of cool charging cases to choose from. I love my spacey one, I love space stuff. And the Everyday Earbuds Classic come with all the features you know and love, new and old. Active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity, multiple sound profiles, etc. The Everyday Earbuds Classic are the perfect addition to your everyday routine. So head to buyraycon.com/Arlo or hit the link in the description to get 15% off during Raycon's spring sale. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Now, please, back to the prices. So I think it's already great that they're budging on game prices, at least a little here. Is this $10 split rewarding digital collectors or punishing physical collectors? You can kind of look at it either way. It really is unfortunate that anyone buying physical has got to pay a good chunk more for each game. Like, I get it, game ownership is really important, and there may come a day when I regret my massive digital library. But it does make a good amount of sense. Nintendo makes substantially less profit on physical games versus digital ones. Like, it's a really, really huge difference per unit. And throwing us any kind of bone is always a good thing. Nintendo is infamous for their inflexibility, so I'll take a little bit of flex anywhere I can get it. But that's only the start. Since announcing the digital-physical split for Yoshi, we've seen even more developments in the exciting world of Nintendo video game prices. We've had 2 more announcements that have really shaken things up. When Nintendo finally fully revealed Splatoon Raiders, they also revealed that the game would only be $60 physical and $50 digital, essentially making it a kinda sorta budget title. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm just as excited for this game as I am for just about any full-priced release. I can see that it's probably a smaller game than a full mainline Splatoon, but if they'd charged full price, I wouldn't have batted an eye. I don't know, maybe it's a short game, maybe I'll see why it was cheaper when I get my hands on it, but the fact that I was ready and willing to spend 70 big ones on it, and now I only have to spend 50? It is a welcome surprise, to be sure. And then recently, they announced a Star Fox 64 remake, which was its own kind of surprise. Welcomeness, rather, depends on the person, I guess. And that game is also 60 physical and 50 digital. I mean, much more understandable in this case. Star Fox 64 is very replayable, but still offers a pretty darn short runtime overall. But again, all things considered, it's just nice to know I'm not gonna have to pay full price for this relatively small N64 remake. And to me, the best part of all this is that it suggests something of a new initiative for Nintendo. The Switch generation saw some budget titles, but, you know, these had 3 or 4 big sets of quotation marks around the word budget. These games were often positively microscopic compared to full-price releases, and in nearly all cases were still $50, only $10 cheaper. And we really didn't get these budget titles very often. But here, still very early in the Switch 2 generation, Nintendo seems to be really loosening up, getting a lot more flexible, loosey-goosey even, taking a look at each and every game and figuring out what a reasonable price might be. I'm just guessing here, but I think it might be because they know they need to start being more flexible. The Switch generation was an easy win for them. Like, they could do no wrong back then. But things are different now. People are much less tolerant of Nintendo's pricing antics for a number of reasons. Again, Nintendo can be really stupid sometimes, but they're not stupid. Whatever the case, this has been a long time coming. Their insistence on premium pricing didn't hurt them in the long run, but I've always argued that it probably did hurt some of their smaller titles. And just more than ever, we need this kind of flexible pricing. And now it's time for me to make good on the premise of this video as outlined by the title and thumbnail. And I have to hope that you do feel I make good on it here and I didn't just clickbait you by making a mountain out of a molehill, because I don't like it when people get mad at me. Maybe I am blowing this out of proportion, but I think this last part helps paint a better picture than ever. Remember that whole retailer pricing parity thing where retailers want the digital and physical prices to match so they can stay competitive? Well, we've already seen plenty of stores selling their games for lower prices over the years. Nintendo sells them the goods and gives them the MSRP, the manufacturer's suggested retail price, but then it's up to the retailer to sell the games for whatever they want. It just comes down to how much profit they want to make on each unit. Walmart and Costco come to mind. I've often seen them selling Nintendo games for a bit cheaper than MSRP, at least some of them. Well, it seems that Walmart and Amazon in particular, who are already known for their aggressively low pricing, have decided to respond to this new digital physical split from Nintendo by lowering their physical prices to match Nintendo's digital ones. At the time of this recording, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, Splatoon Raiders, and Star Fox are available for pre-order, and Walmart and Amazon are selling them for their digital prices. I've seen a couple articles here and there, but I've barely seen anyone really grasp the long-term implications here. Obviously, everything is subject to change, but it looks like this is Walmart and Amazon essentially committing to this pricing parity. They may do this for the foreseeable future. And that means that physical collectors may not be out of luck after all. They may not be punished for wanting to buy physical games. Nintendo started splitting the prices, and now we all get to reap the rewards. And when you add all this together, I feel like it paints a much brighter picture for this generation. Switch 2 is a lot of money, sure. $70 and $80 are pretty high prices to pay for games, absolutely. We will definitely have to keep paying those prices for Nintendo's biggest titles. But they're starting to be a lot more flexible, offering budget pricing a lot more often. And they're offering games digitally for even less. And some retailers are selling their physical units for those lower prices. Which means that even here, in this weird generation, in this crazy day and age when everything is all expensive and gas is $6, going to the store and picking up a physical copy of the latest Nintendo game for $50 ain't that uncommon. I don't know, even if they had to raise prices on a lot of products, this may just be President Furukawa trying to make good on the promise to still offer good value to their customers, admitting that maybe they don't always have to charge the maximum amount of money for every single product. Okay, I'll completely admit, buying games from Walmart and Amazon does come with some downsides. I'm not personally a fan of buying from them. I'm not really a fan of when buying something from either of these retailers is the most affordable choice. I know you got people on both sides. Some are adamant about not doing it ever. Some people just don't really care. Some people can't afford to spend more somewhere else just to vote with their wallets. Personally, I really try not to, but I'm not gonna get on anyone else's case one way or the other. And I certainly see the irony in celebrating when this competitive pricing is exactly why these mega corporations are able to price out the competition and oligopolize the market. But when so many people are expressing concern that being a Nintendo fan may soon become too expensive, it's nice to see that they've got options. And if Walmart and Amazon price this competitively, maybe it'll push more and more other stores to follow suit. I haven't checked the prices for every game in every region. Maybe I'll get around to it tomorrow. But it looks like some retailers in the UK are pricing down their physical units as well. I don't know, I try not to pay attention to UK prices. It's like wacky world over there. It's like, woo, woo, woo. Who even knows what's going on? I mean, you know what I'm saying, folks? I just think it's good to see that it's not all bad news, you know? Is this video one giant cope from a Nintendo YouTuber? Maybe. Well, you see cope and I see hope. Well, that's it for this video, but before you go, be sure to pre-order all the Nintendo games we've been talking about through the Walmart and Amazon affiliate links I stuffed into this video. I did not do that. There are no affiliate links. That's probably something YouTubers are like supposed to do, I think. I don't know. Oh well. I mean, that's like YouTuber 101, right? But like, Sorry, I'm too busy over here thinking about how Switch 2 Welcome Tour should have been a free pack-in game, eh? Am I right, folks? Am I right? This guy gets it.